I did something incredibly foolish while my boyfriend was driving, and he ended up leaving me on the side of the road. Honestly, he was completely justified. Now, I'm wondering how I can apologize to him. My amazing and wonderful boyfriend is 25, and I'm 23. He decided to take me out for dinner after we both had long, exhausting weeks. The evening started off great. He was making me laugh, and we were having a great time talking and enjoying each other's company. After dinner, we got in the car and started heading home. About halfway there, I asked him if we could stop for dessert. He casually said, "Didn't we just eat?" and kept driving. Instead of letting it go, I selfishly kept pushing him, saying, "Come on, please. I really want something sweet." He patiently replied that we had ice cream at home and kept driving. But I kept insisting, pushing him more and more, even though he was already being far more tolerant than I deserved. Finally, he firmly said, "No." I gave up, but then I spotted a fast food restaurant up the road. In a moment of complete stupidity, I jokingly grabbed the steering wheel and tried to steer us into the parking lot. Unfortunately, I pulled harder than I realized and we swerved, lightly bumping into another car. To make things worse, my boyfriend had just bought that car. The other driver signaled for us to pull over, and when we did, both he and my boyfriend got out. The other driver started yelling and swearing at my boyfriend, blaming him for the incident, even though neither car had significant damage, just a tiny dent on our bumper and none on the other car. They didn't even exchange information. While this was happening, I stayed in the car, letting my boyfriend take all the blame for something I caused. When he got back in the car, he was furious. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly that the veins in his arms were popping out. His face was bright red, and he didn't say a single word to me. To try to lighten the mood, I foolishly said, "Well, that could have gone a lot worse." The moment those words left my mouth, he slammed on the brakes, stopped the car, and told me in the angriest voice I've ever heard to get out of his sight. I've never been afraid of him before, but in that moment I was. He looked like he was barely holding himself back from losing control. I got out of the car, and he sped off. It was getting dark, and I was left in a wooded area. It took me nearly an hour to walk home. When I finally got there, all his things were gone. He'd packed up and left. I feel terrible. I can't even apologize to him because he's not responding to my calls or texts. We've had arguments before about my childish behavior when I take things too far, but this time, I went way beyond acceptable. Now, I've lost my boyfriend because of it. To make matters worse, I've been getting texts from our mutual friends saying things like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" It seems like he's told them what happened, and they're all siding with him. I don't know what to do. Is there any way to fix this? How can I apologize to him when everyone else is angry at me too?